We are here with Carla Brown, and Carla Brown is one of our panelists at this year's Changing Currents in Employment Law. And she will be on one of our panels talking about how the Me Too movement has changed the workplace. Carla, I'd like to just ask you, when you first saw kind of what was happening with the Me Too movement, maybe in the first 30 days, did you have any sense that it would kind of catch fire as it did, you know, in those first few months and even carrying through to today?
No, I really had no idea. I was hopeful, I was optimistic, but a lot of my friends called me and said, wow, are you hearing about this? I thought, yes, but over time, so many different industries, so many influential people out of each of those industries, I really had no idea. I'm pleasantly surprised, and some lawyers who've been around through a couple different things said, well, you know, we had Anita Hill back in the day, and we had some very influential people come forward over time. What's different? And I never anticipated you'd have so many industries, so many different people coming forward, and really both sides of the table, not just people who represent employees, but people who represent employers, really taking it seriously and at least talking about it. The fact that we're having this conversation, that we're having it in the context of the DC Bar, and that we're having it in the context of both sides of the table, I think signifies how huge this issue is. So no, I had no idea.
Do you think that the Me Too movement has kind of maybe removed the stigma, or at least made it not as great for people to come forward? Do you feel as if your clients maybe are a little more comfortable with saying Me Too?
Probably a little bit yes and a little bit no. I think at the end of the day, nobody wants to be the woman who came forward and said I was discriminated against. They don't want to come out against powerful people. There's really a lot of fear there, which I think is individual, it's situational. It's not going to be cured by the fact that somebody else said Me Too. But on the flip side of that, there is an expectation that somebody at the company should really be paying attention to these issues, and maybe they've had a discussion about coming forward, which makes a big difference. But, you know, I'm reminded that in 2016, Chair Feldbaum and Chair Lipnick produced the study that really said only 25% of people come forward, and I don't think the Me Too movement or anything else is going to cure that, to be honest.
How about the workplace? Do you see that companies in the wake of the Me Too movement maybe are kind of treating these claims differently than maybe they were just even a few years ago?
Yes. Yes, it does seem like companies are taking them more seriously. They're certainly being investigated. The rhetoric, at least, is there, that they want to do something about it. But I do think there has to be deeper understanding within the company. It's great that you fired somebody, but you didn't do anything for my poor client who is still working there and still isn't sure if his friends are laughing behind her back or something along those lines. I think companies are taking it more seriously. I know over time the workplace will be better because of this, but at the end of the day, the goal is that you get to go to work and work on your work and not have to deal with all these other issues that, you know, really detract from your ability to focus. So I'm hopeful that there'll be a change.
So for those who are watching and thinking about, well, gee, what will I learn in the upcoming Changing Currents program? Maybe just a few things that one can expect to learn in this year's Changing Currents program on the Me Too panel.
One thing I would say is the case law has always been there. The support for plaintiffs has always been there. And for employers, I sort of see us as being on both sides of the table. We want you to fix the problem before it becomes a lawsuit. We want you to help the person, and we want you to do something about it. And I hope that, at least for, you know, as plaintiffs, we need to figure out how to walk people through these situations and be there not only once it's lawsuit, but even maybe prevent it from getting there. And for employers, you know, you have to correct the problem. When we want to help you understand how that can be done, it's not just one solution, and there's lots of remedies you could have for plaintiffs. So I would hope that someone would walk out of there on the plaintiff side more willing to support deeper understanding, going back to the case law that's already there and has been established. And for employers, I still want you to fix this problem before people have to live 2 or 3 years in a lawsuit. And to the extent that anything that we provide on the panel might be helpful, I would hope that's something the panel would get out of it.
What do you see for the future? I mean, the future of the Me Too movement from your perspective. Let's say it's a year down the road and we're sitting here again and talking about the Me Too movement. What do you see for the future?
Hopefully more jury verdicts where, one thing about the Me Too movement and one thing about sexual harassment claims is I think there's a lot of intent or try to, let's say, placate or avoid or play along even, and that is not welcoming conduct, that is not inviting the conduct, and I hope that that's understood more and we continue to see more jury verdicts where the public has said it's not acceptable to force people to engage in different conduct they don't want to, simply to keep their jobs or get the promotion or get the bonus or stay in the project. So a year from now, I'd love to see some great opinions from jurors and obviously even on bench trials from judges, just explaining that even more.
Carla, thank you.
Thank you for having me.